While FM is a people-intensive business, and your number of 4,000 would contain a large number of FM service providers. But you're talking about the rank and file. The rank and file you can train, but there is a certain requirement that educational institutions and academic institutions can fill, and that is what we're trying to arrive at today. The minute you do that, there is some concrete steps forward. The rest, of course, as an organization, you will have to do, right? Richard, one of the biggest things, and since like Parijat said, he's got a diverse range of businesses, and he's talking about so many businesses. KPMG has something similar, right? And you would be addressing many of those.
See, I think the biggest challenge that is faced from students who come out of, say, college, say, fresh graduates, is there is no finishing school in India. So the person who comes out, and even if you take, forget about graduates, if you take a chartered accountant, he's not finished. He or she is not finished. So I think what really ails, and we spend a lot of time in trying to train these individuals on the art of doing business. See, what they learn is academics, and I think many of our courses are outdated. They have no relevance to what they actually do in real. I think the way the institutions need to go back is maybe all these people need to work for 6 months in some organization as part of the course, and maybe we can make it 4 years or whatever, or 1 year they work for, and then do their studies. That studies will be much more relevant to them than just studying it for the sake of studying. So there's no application of the studies. You said, how do you apply that? I think that is coming in as a big shortage. So the successful people are the ones who actually apply, use their common sense, and whatever they've learned to be able to apply. So I think that's one. So what are we looking from a skills perspective? Looking somebody who has business development skills, somebody with analytical skills, good, strong analytical skills, is able to think out of the box, is innovative, because I mean, it's known now for the last 20-25 years, consulting industry has not come on with a new model. I mean, we are still operating on the same model, and nothing out of the world has been given to the clients in terms of something which is different. And I think this is the crying need of industry today, and the way the world is structured, is how do you come with a completely new business operating model. And so what's happened is most of consulting services have been commoditized. And the ones who can be innovative, who could be fast to market, who can think out of the box and come with a solution which would work, applying your technical knowledge into a business solution. And today, if you see, technology is overtaking everything. So even if I go and tell somebody, okay, here HR, let's say I go and tell somebody I'm going to give you an HR solution, because we have a small human capital practice. The first thing is, it's got to be technology backed. It's useless if it is not got technology. I go and give somebody a cost reduction exercise, it's got to have some technology in it. So actually technology is overtaking all our lives, and we can't say, oh, there's a technology expert sitting somewhere, he'll come and talk to you. I think those days are gone. So I think knowledge of technology, knowledge of understanding trends in sectors, and I heard him say that where you do research, analysis of what's happening, futuristic thinking. I think that's something that we need our people to be alive and alert to. But so this is when you take it the entry level, where you're looking at people, and as they grow up, the biggest deficiency we see is leadership skills. We build great managers who are very good in doing their jobs, but they're not leaders. I mean, they cannot, because what happens is, we can all hold ourselves also responsible the way we all, promote our people and to take them through. So they don't learn the software aspects. I heard EQ, I heard like 10 times. So that's the biggest thing lacking.
Right, absolutely.
That's the biggest thing lacking in most people, because as you go up the chain, you've got to deal with people, and if you are rough with them, you will lose them. Then you may have this 36%. It's not because of that. I think it's industry such, so it's not because they are rough. But in our case also, we have 20% attrition. So attrition is high because people have an opportunity to move around. See and I think when you said about qualification, I think when you enter, qualification is important, very important. But as you go up, I think it's your skills and the way you can do the work that is more important. It overtakes you. But now what we are experimenting with us is that we're taking these fresh graduates and we say, why can't we train them the KPMG way? So you take a young mind and tune them. And we are now saying that, okay, let them be graduates, let's try and educate them along the way so their career doesn't stop anywhere. So we try and make them go for a part-time MBA or some other course which they can do along the way. But the talent you get is so good because their mind is not made up. It's a fertile mind. You've been able to train them the way you want. Because what happens many times when we hire the qualified people like chartered accountants, sometimes their minds are made up. Very difficult to change mindsets at times. And the attitude to work. And in our field, we say 24/7 job. So anybody comes and tells me work-life balance, well, then in the wrong space. I think you've got to be honest with people. You've got to be honest with people. This is the life you've chosen, because which other industry will a 30-year-old earn the kind of money they earn? And the kind of ability, from a young, when you're 23, 24, you're dealing with CEOs of companies. You're doing consulting engagements, you're going and dealing with very senior people out there. So no other industry gives you that kind of opportunity. So,
other than the media.
Media, media obviously. I agree. I'm sorry. The media is. Media is even one step ahead, I would say. You get a 21-year-old telling you,
how to run your business.
So, I take back my words there.
Not on the package though, I think.
But I'm saying that, for us, it is not only about content, but it's it's the form. How you actually put yourself across, how you present yourself. In consulting, there is a lot to do with style, there's a lot to do with the way you present. And I think simplicity is very important, because only if you understand can you be simple, otherwise you're very you put this 40-page presentation which nobody understands, even you don't understand. We try and train our people. If you can put something into one page, that means you've understood that, the issue. And the other big skill that we look for is listening skills. Because what we find is that consultants they go with ready-made solutions. KPMG sells these 50 solutions. They will go then want to sell their solution, not listen to what the client wants. So if you understand what the client wants and give him time to speak or her to speak, you will understand their problem and then maybe come with a solution. So I think listening skills is very, very important in consulting.
Mr. Sharma, at this point, I think maybe you would like to put in a word. What we've been hearing here is that one, it doesn't matter where you come from. It does matter what general skills you bring: leadership, listening skills, EQ, application of the concepts that you've taught, and also how to interact with the business. How are you industry ready when you get out of academic institution? Would you like to?
Yeah, I've seen the requirements are very diverse actually. You can put it into some 3-4 levels actually. Maybe the PwC or a Ernst & Young or a KPMG may require very highly placed consultants also, and then for facilities management you require from very basic worker upward to the engineering level also. So it's a very wide thing. Yes, we have all level of students, let me say, and that it's not that we are not conscious. We are very conscious to the requirements. We have mid-segment students. The upper crust of say 20 or 25% would be good enough to get into any very good organization. The bottom 10 or 20% may be absolutely hopeless. The central segment of 50% can suit majority of operational requirements, maybe not very analytical in terms of ability or not outstanding out-of-box thinkers. But for the operational and other kind of requirements, for maintaining something, for operational work, they'll be good enough. Now, how do you train them for a very diverse kind of thing? That's been the challenge. Just as you said, soft skills and this thing. We have middle-level students with me. Tell you, we have a very huge pool of talent which you can actually at JLL take or at other places take. As I said, we have 35 full-time faculty only for imparting soft skills. People don't have 35 faculty on board, even for their regular courses. We have 35 full-time people, which we have taken back from industrial backgrounds who wanted to settle down into an academic setup, full-time devoting themselves to soft skills development. There are psychologists, there are people from sociology, there are people from English communication, there are people from aptitude and other kind of this one, and personality development aspects also to a great extent, exploring your own weaknesses, converting them to how do you change yourself, how do you manage those changes. All this is available at our campuses. How to motivate the students to acquire this. It's becoming too much of a knowledge load or something on his mind. So the only thing that can work out is that what we are thinking, what we have been able to discuss during all these meetings, which boils down to that, let's say an engineering is a 4-year course. Now 3 years we give them a very solid base level this thing which covers the major areas of that particular domain, which is mechanical engineering, or which is computer science or IT or electrical engineering or electronics engineering. Person is firmly grounded into the basics of that. Thereafter, the skills have to be generic, but even generic skills industry-wise are very substantially different. So depending on which kind of career that person is willing to choose, there we have to tie up with the bulk recruiters or big industry sectors actually, segments who have some specific kind of need. They can train our faculty to impart particular courses or knowledge which you wish to disseminate. Like you said, we are taking graduates and training them. I'll suggest you take middle level MBA students and simultaneously run a course with us. We'll send our MBA faculty to you. You train them up once so that you don't have training expenses. Now the same thing what you have trained, we'll incorporate this as a special course. We'll put it in the MBA final semester for 6 months, or maybe the 3rd and the 4th semesters. And these people during their first and second year will come and work for you for 30-40 days to get an idea as to what is the nature of work which they will be required to deliver at the end of the career. Then they come back to the campuses, they have some 3-4 optional papers specifically tailored to you, which we will evaluate and give them marks. Our faculty is trained by you, and then they again go back for another 60 days or 80 days of internship, or for a project that you tell. You hand over one of your old projects which you already handled, which you have a solution for, you train up our faculty, they conduct it, you evaluate, or they will evaluate on your behalf, and then when the student is ready, you have no obligation to hire him. The only obligation is in day one you evaluate that, okay, Shah University has 100 students who have undergone the kind of course which I need as KPMG, right? Out of that 100, let's say this year the demand is only for 10, so you hire 10. You have the first day slots, you get the best day. There may be another consultant who is also involved, they may hire another 8 or 10. So 20 have gone through you, 80 are still left. But then we'll advertise to other similar segment of consulting that, look, we have students trained in this. And they have been trained in association with a KPMG or a PwC or this, or an Avon Hewitt or whichever.
So he's not only helping you with your pool, he's helping you to poach later from your competitors.
No, that will create a big talent pool for industry. The problem is, this is not happening. This is not happening because one of the reasons is industry is very hard pressed for time. So the approach is getting off the shelf. Pay, pick up from the shelf and go and use. That kind of thing in education will not be well because the skills are so diverse that you can't impart all kinds of skills. So you can impart some generic kinds of skills and help them to have more specific skills suited to a particular segment, and let those who help to prepare them, this thing is that will come back to them, they have the first choice. And once skilled and substantially educated students are available, there are plenty of other people who are not in a position, especially those in the MSME sectors, who will be needing similar kind of talent, but they can't train them up. So they will come and hire, eventually these students will get into industry, and you have a much better incoming pool of talents than what you today have. There's a very big disconnect, and this connect has to be bridged only like this. There are training agencies which have cropped up, but they are low-paid trainers. They themselves become outdated after 5 years. The kind of flavor they can bring in terms of skills. Somebody has worked for 3-4 years in industry, has become a trainer for a slightly better salary, but 4 years down the line he becomes absolutely out of touch with what is happening in industry. Industry is changing every year or 2 years or 3 years. New practices are evolving, new expectations are getting built up, new challenges are getting cropping up. So how do you address all this? That is possible only when industry has something continuously. Train up 3 faculty. You don't have to pay any cost other than disseminating the basic content that you wish should be there. and the kind of competencies that you wish the incoming entry-level person should have. We will develop that. We will invest, we'll sit with you, we'll find out, we'll train our faculty, and the faculty in turn will conduct a course, say 2, 3, 4 papers, plus some industry exposure. So it's that industry exposure part which is totally lacking, and there's no commitment for placement also. Once students are better placed and the economy is moving, there's going to be huge requirement, and one or the other person is going to train. You have the advantage of making the first 2, 3 slots to select. This is the kind of model which we propose should be there in most of the areas, and then it will have wealth of information flowing back to the campuses. The academic people left to this thing because they have come out of a government system, most of them. All they know, they have studied something in the book, they'll come and write it on the board. Students will just mug it up, reproduce it in the examination, they'll get a degree, and then they are on top of the world, is very highly knowledgeable people. Skill part will be totally missing. But how do you bring this skill development?
You see, one of the gap which I've observed, which is not specific to the Sharda, which across
Is there across all
yes,
educational
all educational institutions, because we've been also helping ISB and IIMs for their placements, along with the others. Many of the time, the expectation levels from the institutions, from the academic institutions, have been built up very high for the students because of the two reasons. Maybe the kind of fee they charge, correct, and the kind of jobs which are available. Nothing specific to anyone. While helping many of the companies, like global organizations, the two reasons they go to the campuses. One is the skills availability, and second is the cost, right? When you say that, like self-model, go and pick up, because